Hey friends, welcome to today's video. My name's Stephanie and today I have another Sylvanclaw review. This is for their newest collection called Moonlit Stroll. It's a small 5-piece lineup that features a matching blue shimmer and these hollow flakies, all inspired by the contemplative nights of evening walks, which sound so serene, so peaceful. So I'll share more of my thoughts for the end. For now, let's just get into the swatches. So I actually want to read the little bylines, I guess, for each of the polishes because I find them so fitting. So first we have just a phase, a reminder that there is ebb and flow to life. This one I would describe as a very pale sky blue with a blue shimmer that shifts to pink in extreme light and filled with holographic microflakes. The formula on this one was really smooth, super easy to work with. It wasn't the most even coverage on the first coat. I had a couple of bald spots here and there, but I did find that it evened out really nicely on 2 coats, though considering how light this color is, I could see you needing a third depending on your application, especially if your nails are longer. So here is my full hand swatch with 2 coats and a top coat, and I just really love how this looks. It's super beautiful. I always love a polish inspired by the moon. Next we have Grass Half Full, a shimmer of optimism under twilight skies. This is the grass green of the collection that has that same blue shimmer and holographic flakies. This one had an even more pigmented formula, so it had really great coverage on the first coat alone. It was just a touch sheer in some spots, but overall I found it a lot more even compared to the last shade, and likely because this one is a little bit darker, I found that it was perfectly opaque for me in just 2 coats. As you might know, I'm not super crazy about this shade of like grass green, but I think it does look really beautiful in combination with the shimmer and the flakies. And I also remember to get a clip of this in extreme light so you can hopefully see that shift to pink. And again, for my full hand swatch, I'm wearing 2 coats and glossy top coat. I feel like the shimmer doesn't look as strong as I was seeing it in real life. I feel like the blue shimmer in these just really glow, and the hollow flakies have such a beautiful twinkle even outside of direct sunlight, so I can only imagine how glorious they would look in full sun. Then we have Shrub It Off, a soft armor for thorny days, and this is the teal from the collection and one of my top favorites. This one had another super smooth, easy to apply formula. It was just so easy to paint with and super pigmented as well. I would say very similar to the last shade where I got incredible coverage on the first coat alone. Not quite a 1-coater, but like almost there. I feel like if your nails are short enough and you're in a rush, the shimmer in this is definitely glowy enough that it would be distracting from any potential sheerness that you might have. But again, I think the formula is just so flawless. It's like thin, but in a good way where it dries down pretty fast, so you can just do a second coat super easy. And here is my full hand swatch. I think it just looks so glowy. The blue shimmer in this one just really shines, and I found this one was especially glowy in low light. Ugh, I just love it so much. I feel like it kind of gives me dark mermaid vibes too. Next we have Wading Through Life, Gentle Resilience, One Step at a Time. And this is the vibrant blue of the collection. This one is maybe another favorite, honestly. It had such a beautiful formula, super pigmented, so smooth and buttery to apply. And similar to the last shade, I would say that it had amazing coverage on the first coat where it's like almost a 1-coater. I feel like some people could get away with it, but I did too, just for good measure, and I was just so blown away by how glowy and vibrant this one is. Even though it's a blue shimmer against a blue base, I feel like it still just pops so beautifully. Such a mesmerizing color. I just could not stop staring at it, even though I don't always love wearing such bold blues. I feel like I just don't pull them off that well, but this one was so enchanting. And rounding out the collection, we have Growing Impatiens, a chance to embrace inner growth. And I think I would describe this as a grape purple sort of shade, again with the same blue shimmer and hollow flakies. This one had another super smooth, flawless kind of formula. It was just a little bit more sheer, almost like jelly leaning, but still very pigmented. So it had really great coverage on the first coat, and because it's a slightly darker shade, I found it opaque for me in just 2 coats. No surprise, I also thought this was super stunning. I feel like any purple base with a blue shimmer is just such a stunning combination, and I found it especially flattering with how the shimmer shifts to that purpley pink color, and of course with the hollow flakies, it is just such a magical kind of polish. And here is a collage of the swatches for this collection. I just really love this color palette. I think it's so pretty and soothing. Totally nailed the vibe in my opinion. Now for comparisons, we're starting with Just a Phase, and I knew I wanted to see this next to Holo Taco's Pearl Gray from the David's Tea collab, even though that one is like a dove gray kind of color. And I also wanted to see this next to Picture Polish's Reflection, which does have a little bit more blue compared to Pearl Gray, but it's not as blue as Just a Phase. And while it does also have shimmer, you can't really see that on the nail. For other super pale light blues, I did want to quickly show this next to Olive Ave's Cloudy, but as you can see, that one has so much more white in it. I thought Essie's Borrowed in Blue was a lot closer, and it would be close enough to try to recreate using Holo Taco's Freezer Burn and a flaky hollow topper, but it's not quite the same. Next for Grass Half Full, I did want to quickly show this next to Field of Wonder, which was another green from Sylvanclaw. That one is a lot darker though, and it also has different colored flakies in it. So I thought a closer green would be Holo Taco's Sour Note from the Rock Candy collection last summer, which of course is a crushed hollow with a shimmer. So in theory, it's like kind of similar finish-wise to the Sylvanclaw polishes, but I'd say that the flakies are much larger in Sylvanclaw, and the shimmer is a little bit more glowy too. And for my recreation attempt, I wanted to use Olive Ave's Forest, being this like dark grassy green. It actually looks super light here. This is much more color accurate, which as you can see is just way too dark to match that more mid-toned shade of green of Grass Half Full. Next for Shrub It Off, I immediately thought of Cirque's Elixir of Everlasting Life, which is this tealy green kind of jelly base filled with a blue shimmer and this holographic glitter. So on paper, they definitely sound like dupes, but I also wanted to see this next to Mooncat's Poseidon's Prize, which is a magnetic, but I just thought the color and shimmer was very close. And surprisingly, I think I would call it closer to Shrub It Off than Cirque, because the base in Cirque is a lot more green, though it's a lot easier to tell in like specific angles because they all do have the same kind of like blue shimmer. So while not one-to-one dupes, they're definitely really close. And lastly, here's a quick bottle comparison to Holo Taco's Teal No Lies, which is a teal metallic kind of shade that's much more of a blue leaning teal. Next for Wading Through Life, I wanted to show it to some other previous Sylvanclaw blues like Pond-ering and Satin Starlight. Satin Starlight is obviously a lot darker, more of like a midnight jelly blue, so it does look like Pond-ering is a little bit closer, but that one does have a much more sheer kind of formula and a contrasting orangey copper shimmer, so I wouldn't really call these close at all. Then for some Holo Taco blues, I wanted to show it next to Blue Rizzler since it again has that same combination of shimmer and holographic sparkle, but I think both of those elements stand out more in the Sylvanclaw shade, not to mention they just are completely different shades of blue. I thought Steep Dreams from the David's Tea collab was going to be a little bit closer, but I obviously just forgot how dark it was. And lastly, for some ILNP blues, here it is next to Alice from the recent Illusions collection, which is a magnetic, so it doesn't have the extra hollow sparkle or anything. I also applied it unmagnetized, so it just kind of looks a little flat on the nail. And I did also want to show it next to ILNP's Songbird, which is another vibrant kind of blue, but it is a little bit deeper. While it does have hollow flakies in it, I decided to add more along with a blue shimmer, but it's still not an exact dupe. And lastly, for Growing Impatiens, I thought the closest Sylvanclaw purple was Candlelit Scrawl, but as you can see, that is just so much darker with a red shimmer, so it's not really similar at all. And here it is also next to ILNP's Unforgettable, which is a purple hollow jelly flaky, but that one's a little bit more red toned. And for Holo Taco, I knew I had to see this next to Crystal Mommy, which is one of the birthstone polishes, as well as Electric Sweetener from the Rock Candy collection, because they're both crushed hollows with a shimmer. As I'm sure you can tell, the color of Electric Sweetener is way off. It's just like a warmer, brighter purple tone. So Crystal Mommy is a lot closer, especially in the base color, but it does have a warmer, like pinkish red kind of shimmer as opposed to the blue. So it's not an exact dupe, but definitely the closest, especially since the hollow flakies in Crystal Mommy pop a lot more than Electric Sweetener. And lastly, I knew I had to see this next to Cirque's Jammin' Out, which is another shimmer graphic. So it has that blue shimmer, the hollow glitter instead of a flaky, but all in a purple base. I thought these were going to be a lot closer, but I'd say that Growing Impatiens is basically what I wanted Jammin' Out to be. So that wraps up my swatches and comparisons of Sylvanclaw's Moonlit Stroll collection. As always, I would love to know your thoughts on these because I thought they were so beautiful. As I mentioned in the intro, I thought the inspiration alone was just so serene and tranquil, and I really think the theme was so beautifully translated into these polishes. I also just love a classic shimmer and hollow kind of combination, and I thought the color palette was so pretty too. So I might be a little biased there, but overall, even objectively speaking, the polishes were just so fantastic. I feel like I've quickly become a fan of Sylvanclaw for their quality, and I'm so happy that they have switched over to the paddle brushes. They don't seem super wide compared to like some other brands, maybe like KB Shimmer, for example, but they are still rounded, which I feel like just makes such a difference with application, and it just makes it so satisfying to paint with. So overall, loved swatching these and wearing them. I just thought they were so pretty. I think my top favorites are Just a Phase and Shrub It Off, but I really also love Wading Through Life, even though again, I'm not like the biggest fan of wearing a bold blue manicure myself. There's just something so mystical about that shade and just so glowy, so I of course am a fan. If you are interested in grabbing any of these, they are already available on Sylvanclaw's website. They launched I think on June 11th, but I will have their website linked down below if you're interested in any of these or any previous Sylvanclaw shades. I also almost forgot to mention too that I'm a really big fan of the new logo. I feel like it just captures the mystical vibe of the brand so well. So I'm not sure if they've already like changed the logo on their previous collections, but the new logo here is definitely super beautiful. Anyway, I really hope that you enjoyed these, especially with the more tranquil kind of vibe. I know the world is so crazy right now, so I really hope that you are taking care of yourself, whether that is an evening walk at the end of the day or just reading your favorite book, making your favorite meal, hanging out with your friends, whatever it is, please continue to take care of yourself. But anyway, let me know any and all thoughts that you have down below so we can chat about it. But thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!